We are going to get going. So Todd Bogert is going to actually run this class for us, this breakout, which is really great. Todd's with RG Site Builder, is one of our headline sponsors for this year. It's been really great. We've worked with Todd for years and years. He's going to share a bunch of stuff on web design, traffic, like the importance of it. Please, please, please pepper him with all your questions. This is a great opportunity that you're going to have. We'll run a mic over to you. We need to do that so we can get everything on recording. But let me introduce Todd Bogert. Come on up on stage, bud.
Hi, good morning. I've never done this before, so I'm sorry if I look nervous. I am nervous. So I'm Todd from RG Site Builder. Real Geeks literally changed my life. I built my wife's site out about 8.5 years ago, something like that. At that time, I was the Chief Information Officer for the Arizona Department of Veteran Services. I had been for 15 years. I had no plans on leaving. She started real estate. She was in the mortgage business, and then 2008, so that didn't work out. A few years later, she came and said she wanted to be a real estate agent, and I thought, hey, great, nice cheap way to start a business. And little did I know that, not cheap at all. She spent a couple years building out her site and blogging and playing with this and that. And then we finally settled on Real Geeks, and she said, I didn't sign up to be a website editor. I want to be a real estate agent. Can you do this? So I did. I built her site out. We did a review. Real Geeks posted it on their website. And then things just kind of took off. So now all we do for the last 8 years, I quit my day job. Last 8 years, all we do is build Real Geek sites out. So what we're going to go over today is this is the beginner's course. So hopefully you guys are in the right spot. I'm going to show my screen, or I'm going to show my laptop up on the screen here, answer questions. We'll kind of go through the editor at first. I've got a full list of stuff that my team put together of just bullet points and things like that. I don't think we're going to be able to get through all of those. So this really is more of a question and answer kind of thing. I'm going to show you some different stuff as far as the simple stuff of driving traffic, setting up your site, and how to get started. So do we have any questions even at the beginning? Okay. So you guys all have signed up for Real Geeks. This is your back-end editor. We're going to be dealing primarily in the edit website side. I don't know whose site this is. This is Mark Plotkin. I don't know if he's here today. I know he's here, but I don't know if he's in this room. So basically, the back end of your site is set up into different sections. Okay, you've got your homepage section, area pages, content pages with agent assign. So the agent landing pages. Does anyone here know the difference between a regular page and an agent landing page? Yes. Okay, so any kind of page, you can build any kind of page you want in the agent landing pages section. What that's for, so if we go into the agent landing pages section, you'll see this is an agent detail page. Okay, an agent detail page is just a template. That's all it is. It's just a layout. Doesn't mean anything more than that. So this is Mark's agent detail page. You can see right here, you've got different templates that you can choose from. This is it's got his headshot, bio, and whatnot. What the agent landing pages section does is it gives you this drop down. So anyone that's in your lead manager, okay, they have to be an actual user in your lead manager. Anybody can have an agent detail page. You could have 100 agents on your site. Anyone can have an agent detail page, and you don't get charged for that person unless they're collecting leads in the lead manager. And if they're in the lead manager, they then show up in this drop down list. If I assign this page to somebody, what that means is if someone visits the site, so if they go to homesbymarkplotkin.com/Mark-Plotkin, and it's the very first time they've ever been to the site, and they come in directly on this page, the site places a cookie in their browser, and as long as they stay on the same machine and don't clear their DNS and cache and all that, if they then register, that lead will bypass a round robin system and go directly to that person. Now this works not just for agent detail pages, but all the other types of pages that we're going to go over. So there's content pages, coming soon pages, all those. Well, not coming soon. It won't work in the agent detail or in the agent landing page section. But so if I go back into the back end here, you see, if I go into content pages, add an agent landing page. You can choose from any of the templates, okay? So page with search, page without search, foreclosure, featured, sold, blank, about, agent detail, or coming soon. And what that means is you can build pages for certain cities or neighborhoods, subdivisions, school districts, whatever. And if you have somebody on your team or who's really strong in that city or neighborhood or subdivision, and they kind of own that market, that's their target market, you can build pages specifically for that person and specifically for that city. Now your home page, okay, let's start off at the top here, I guess. Edit home page, right here. Now, does everybody know what a title tag and a meta description is? No. All right, so a title tag is for Google, a meta description is for the public. So if I do a search like, let's say, homes for sale, Dallas. What you see in blue here is the title tag. What you see below is the meta description. The title tag is for Google, meta description is more for the public. Why should I click the link above? So a title tag, you don't want it to be something like Todd Tramonte Homes, okay? Because no one's searching Todd Tramonte Homes, and if they are, they're already a client. So if I was to build a page for Dallas or for Richardson or something like that, you don't need to include your company name, your name, anything like that in the title tag. It's not as important because you want something descriptive that somebody's going to be searching on. Title tag can be up to 60 characters. It can be more, and it depends on the search engine, but limit it to 60 characters because if not, it sometimes will become truncated. So Google will take it and pull a portion of it out. Same thing with your meta description. If you don't include one, sometime, or if you include one that's too long or too short, 30 characters to 60 character, for the title tag, 30 to 60. If it's too short, Google's just going to pull something random from your page, probably a header, a heading, title tag, a heading tag, something like that. And you don't want Google just to pull something. You want to control what Google sees on that page, okay? So that's the two right here, title and meta description. Meta keywords are just that, keywords. Google doesn't really look at the meta keyword tag as much anymore, but it's still good to fill out. Still populate it as much as you can. Don't repeat words in there. Okay, if you put Dallas homes for sale, there's no reason to put Dallas house for sale or Dallas home for sale. Google's going to look at home, house, homes, all of those things as the same. Okay, so pick a keyword and pop them in there. Down here, you've got your content section. So if we go to his home page, that's right here. And you can put just about anything in the content section. You can put videos, you can put text, obviously, images. It's a fairly simple editor in the back end. It's easy to use. You've got paragraph, heading 1, 2, 3, 4. I never get into the 4, 5, 6 or anything like that. And Google is kind of like an English teacher. Okay, so you want to start off with a heading 1. Then you want to put a little bit of content. Then a heading 2, a little bit of content. You only want one H1 tag on your page, but you can have multiple H2 tags. So one heading 1, content, or a video, or an image, a heading 2, more content, a couple paragraphs, whatever, another heading, so on and so forth. Okay, so Google likes to see structure like that. Down below, override landscape, image, or video. Okay, so this is where you can choose the video or image on your main banner. Main banner is just this across the top of the screen. You can use video. There's one caveat. It has to be under 8 megs worth of video. Okay, so 8 megs is the largest file you can upload into what's called the file browser, so the back end of the site. 8 megs isn't a lot of video. It's 10 seconds or so. You'd want to compress it. There's tons of free video compressor sites out there. ucompress.com is one of them. So run the video through that first before you upload it to the site. Pros and cons to video. I mean, video obviously is slower. Okay, the page is going to load slower. And there's nothing you can do to get around that. The only time I would use video is if it makes sense. If it adds value to the site or to the page. If you're selling a lifestyle, or you live in Hawaii and you want a picture of the ocean, sure, that adds value to the site. People are looking for that. Just someone opening up a house and waving, no reason to use video on that, or that kind of video on a page. All it does is increase site load time. Images, same thing. Any image that you put on the site, you want to optimize it. Okay. If you go to the the Real Geek support page and just type in image sizes or image dimensions, they have a page that has all the different dimensions for all the different pieces of the site. Main banner on Anna, main banner on Miranda, and those are just different templates, Anna and Miranda. It'll give you all the image sizes and all that. There's a couple of free editors out there. I like Pixlr. Pixlr.com. It's a free editor. It's an online editor. It's easy to use. Does everything you need it to do. Crop it. So take the image, crop it, chop it, resize it, do whatever you're going to do to it. But before you upload it to the site, run it through something like tinypng.com. So tinypng, it's free. Does a very good job of reducing the file size, but keeping the image clarity. Okay. I can take a 3 meg file, run it through tinypng, comes out at 500K, 600K, something like that. And if I was to put them up side by side on two different pages, you wouldn't see the difference. It doesn't come out pixelated or anything like that. Now, another thing on images, don't go out and just take somebody else's image. We've had that happen. Kevin McCarthy's called me and said, hey, it's kind of ambiguous as to whose responsibility it is. So in other words, somebody used an image on a site. They gave us the image. They gave us images, and then later down the road, they published one of their own images, and it was an image that they just grabbed from somebody else's site, and it even had the marker on it. And so, I mean, there's lawyers out there there's people out there that's all they do is they take images, put them up on websites, hoping that you're going to take it, use it on your site so they can sue you for it. And it's not cheap. I think Real Geeks was looking at $15,000, something like that. So it was a big deal. I don't know actually what ever came out of it, but so don't go to somebody else's site and just steal their images, or just Google and, don't go to Google and just use an image. There are free image sites out there, royalty free, and as long as they are, great. Go to Shutterstock, purchase an image, iStock, purchase an image, whatever, but just don't use anything you find on Google or somebody else's site. And that goes for content too. Okay, once we get to the content section, don't go out and copy somebody else's content. For one, it's unethical, and for two, you're actually going to get penalized for having duplicate content. So, write your own content. And nobody knows the areas better than you guys do. The best bar in that area, here's the local grocery store. When you're writing a description of an area, which is very important to do, and when we get to area pages, I'll show you, it's very important to write descriptions of the area. That helps the page rank better, and it makes you the local expert for that particular area. And just writing some random content, or even using ChatGPT and having content generated. Don't just copy and paste ChatGPT either. Mix it up. Put some of your own words into it. Because again, nobody knows the areas better than you do. And you don't have to be an English major. It doesn't have to be a book. 1-2 paragraphs describing the area can help that page rank. Do we have any questions so far? Am I going too fast? No? Okay. So here is where you would choose whatever image you want. Okay. If it's a gallery image, Real Geeks has a gallery that you can choose images from. These are all royalty free, and you can use any of them. You can pick your own image or video, or you can hide the landscape section completely. Okay, now you wouldn't want to do that if it's a search page or something like that, because you want that search box up on top. Now, the big difference between the two different templates that I just mentioned, so you got Anna, now you have Anna Modern, and Miranda. The biggest difference is the search box. Okay, Anna and Anna Modern both include this. So it's the type ahead search. So it's Zillow, Realtor.com-ish. Okay, someone starts typing something, and they get to choose from the drop-down list of anything in the MLS that has that word in it. Okay, so island, region, building name, so on and so forth. Miranda, let's see if I've got a Miranda site up. No. Let's just go, sorry, we'll go here, we'll pick a Miranda. So Miranda uses the quick search box. Here we go. Like this, drop-down menus, okay? My personal thought on the difference between the quick search box and the type search box is it kind of depends on your demographic. I think older people like the drop-down menus. Or if you're living in an area where most of your people are coming from out of the area, because they may not know what to start typing into the type ahead search. If I'm moving to Hawaii, I don't know Hawaii. Okay, maybe I'll start typing Oahu. Maybe I'll start. That's the only thing I know. I have never been there before, so that might be a better time to use the type ahead search. Anna Modern is more mobile. It's more mobile oriented. It's got a better mobile UI. If you look at the listings on the page, the embedded listings down here, on Miranda, it's a running list. On Anna, they're all in a grid format. So on Anna Modern, the grid format on the home page is on a slider. On the internal pages, they're in a grid format like this. Okay, so it just looks better on a mobile device. They're bigger, they're bolder, and like a tablet, something like that. It looks nicer on Anna or Anna Modern. And Anna Modern just came out about 3, maybe 4 months ago, something like that. Big difference between Anna and Anna Modern is you now get up to 12 featured areas on the homepage. And in the back end, you get to pick the images. And these don't have to be area specific. Okay, you can't break those sections up, but maybe you want Oahu, Big Island, Maui, homes on the water, or oceanfront, or you could add lifestyle searches into those too. They don't have to be specific areas. You could also make them subdivisions, school districts, whatever. You can't, like I said, you can't break this section up, so it's always going to be featured areas, but it can be whatever you want it to be down here. The other thing Anna Modern gives you is on the home page, however many agent detail pages you have in the back end, there's just a little checkbox. So their names are going to appear on the home page. You just check which ones you want to appear as featured agents on the home page. And that's another big difference between Anna and Anna Modern. This section right here, this is just something that we added. It's just the content section. You'll see this on a lot of sites, but that's just because we built it. Okay, doesn't mean that these come stock. These 3 icons right here. Go back to the back end. Sidebar, footer, custom banner. So you can have multiple sidebars. You can have as many different sidebars as you want. It does make things a little more difficult as you're, if you've got 60 sidebars, and I've seen sites with over 500 sidebars, and you want to make one change, just remember that you're going to make that one change 60 or 500 or however many times you have that sidebar. So, if you want to put your Facebook link or your Facebook link changes in the sidebar, and you got to update it 500 different times. It's pretty easy to do in the back end here under sidebars. What I would do is, if you want to create a new sidebar, duplicate your default sidebar first. Okay, just call it backup or something like that, and just let it sit there. That way, at least you know you have a backup copy of your original sidebar. Then duplicate it again. Now change it up however you want. Maybe it's for a different section, a different area. Maybe it's a sidebar for a specific agent. Okay, and you're going to make an agent page for that person or an agent landing page for that person, and you want their information listed here in the sidebar. So we duplicated it. Now we just rename it right there. Save it off. And then on that specific page that we were editing before, you can change the sidebar to whatever sidebar you want. But again, I would use those sparingly only because it's harder to edit. Yes? No, you just hit duplicate. So next to the sidebar itself, duplicate. Now this is the duplicate. Now I want to rename it. If I try to save it now, it's going to say you've already got one like that with the same name. So you just rename it now, and then you hit save. Oh, gotcha. No problem. Same thing with footers. You can have multiple footers in the back end. You just click on add a footer. Put a new footer. Maybe it's a different address. Maybe it's it's for a specific agent, whatever. What I would do is I would start off by going into your original footer, and don't just copy this. Okay, whoops, sorry. Don't just copy the text that's in here. Go to the source code and then copy everything that's in the source code. Or you can call Todd. But copy it there, go back to footers, add a new footer, go into source code again, paste it. I didn't copy it, but paste it. That way you have a starting point, okay? And there might be code in there. There might be, a Google Analytics code or other custom codes and things like that. So at least you want to start off with a base, okay? Now you don't rename your footers. You just click on save, and it's going to call it. Well, I got to put something in here. It's going to call it footer number 2, and then footer number 3, and footer number 4, and so on and so forth. You can go into that footer and see which pages are using that footer, and that's really important, especially to someone like me. Okay, when we design a site, if I go in there and I see 10 different footers, I can click on them and see that, oh, that one's not being used by any pages at all. Okay, or it's only being used by that one single page. It'll show a list down there of all the pages that footer is attached to. So like here, it's attached to all these pages. All right. Now the difference between area pages and content pages. Area pages, you don't get to choose the template. Okay, it's always basically a page with search template. It's going to have a search box across the top. It's going to have a main banner. It's going to have a content section, a sidebar, and listings down below. Okay. One thing about area pages that makes it easier to build multiple area pages are site defaults. If I go back here, I'm going to go to Legacy View. Oh, come on. And click on Defaults. So you'll see area title default, keyword, or description default. What this does, so if I go into area title default, it says bracket area real estate pipe bracket area homes for sale. And you can change this, you can edit it however you want. And you can put these different variables into it. And what that means is, so you see it's got area real estate pipe area homes for sale. If I was to go back to the area pages section, click on Weston. No title tag, no meta description, or no keywords in there. But if I go to view on the site, I've got a title tag of Weston Real Estate Pipe, Weston Homes for Sale. If I was to look at the page source, you'll see a meta description of, see all the Weston Homes for Sale up to 72 hours before they appear on Trulia Zillow. Because what it's doing is it's pulling from those site defaults. It's taking the area name variable and putting it where those brackets are. It's not the greatest thing for SEO to do it that way and to just let it, because it's not a duplicate title tag, but all your title tag structure is going to look very, very similar. But it's an easy way to crank out multiple area pages, multiple areas, without having to write a new title, a new meta description, or new keywords. Sure. All right, so we go into area pages. Any page increases SEO. As long as it has a good title tag, good meta description, good content, unique content, any page, any blog post, Content's king as far as driving traffic to the site. It just has to be unique content. It can't be something that you copied and pasted from anywhere else. All right, so you click on Add an Area page. I don't know what, let's see. Let's look down here because I wouldn't do it in this order. I just don't know this area. Okay, so I'm going to pick a city. We're going to call it Alfred. Okay. So I'm going to make a page for Alfred. The area name is going to be Alfred. Now he set up the site defaults, so I'm not going to put in a title tag, meta description, or keywords, but you can. Okay, you could change the title tag. And for the title tag, I would do something like Alfred Homes for Sale, and then a pipe, which pipe splits the key phrases. So pipe is the right above your enter key. I'm having trouble typing with just one hand. Right there, oops. Well, pipe, it's a straight up and down line. Okay, so it's the one shift right above your enter key. And that tells Google to split the key phrases. So in other words, I want this page to rank for either Alfred Homes for Sale or, and what would be another one? Alfred Real Estate or Alfred Condos for Sale. This is Florida, right? Yeah. So let's do Alfred Condos for Sale. Now you're probably better off doing a separate page for Alfred Homes and Alfred Condos. But for this example, we'll just split it up that way. Meta description, see all the homes for sale in Alfred, updated every 15 minutes. Something descriptive, something why should I be wanting to click the link above to see all the homes for sale in Alfred. Anchor text is for you. Okay, that's just what's in the back end of the site that's going to show as you're in your back end editor so you know what that page is about. When I put in the anchor text, it automatically creates the slug. Slug is anything past .com. Okay, so when I look up here, this is the slug. Admin/content/area page/add. Now, another thing is you may want to nest the page. So what that means is if I do let's say I do a subdivision page, and it's a subdivision of Alfred. You could make the parent page the city. Okay, so Aventura Homes for Sale, and let's pretend that Alfred is a subdivision of Aventura, because then your slug is going to be yourdomain.com/Aventura Homes for Sale/Alfred. So it's a good way to structure the site for one. And it helps as far as SEO goes a little bit too, to nest the page is what it's called. Down here we got content section. Again, anything you want it to be. Heading 1, content. Heading 2, content. Embed a video. Now one thing about videos, years ago having a video embedded from YouTube or something like that could help the page rank better. It doesn't happen anymore. YouTube videos are now a no-follow link, okay? I'm not saying don't do them. They are good, and you can draw traffic to your YouTube channel. So what I used to do, but when my wife first started, was I had a snap cam, I think it was called back then. It was just because iPhones didn't really have a camera, or maybe it was even pre-iPhone days. But I would just take a little gorilla tripod, stick it on my dashboard, point it out, and we went to high school together. We grew up in the same area that we live in now, so I know the area. And I would just drive around talking. Well, here's the church. This is the school. Blah blah blah. And they can't see me. My video is really just sticking out my window, or sometimes I'd actually stick it out of the sunroof, and I'd keep on talking. And I would get hundreds of hits on that video because someone's searching for Litchfield Park Homes for Sale, or they want to know about the neighborhood. You can't get that most times from even any site, any real estate site at least. You can get homes, but you don't get a feel for the neighborhood itself. Embed that video into the page. But again, it doesn't help the page rank. It just helps your YouTube channel rank. So if someone does a search, your video can show up in the search results. So in the YouTube video, in the description section, make sure you have a link back to your site. Even if you're posting the video into the page, Because again, someone does a search, they click on that video, okay, great, they get to learn about the neighborhood and whatnot, but there's no way for them to get to your site. Now, you can't put an actual link in the description. It's not going to show up like that. They can't click on it and go to your site, but they could copy and paste it and go to your site, or at least they know where it came from. Okay, so make sure, and if you do a video, don't just point it to your homepage in the description. Put a link back to the area page about that area on your site. Okay. The name of the video. Don't upload a YouTube video that's just 178.mp4. Make it a descriptive name. Homes_for_sale in Alfred before you upload it to YouTube. Fill out everything on that YouTube video. Okay, put the description, put closed captions if you can. Any drop downs, any of the fields they have, fill it all out as much as you can. Okay, that helps Google rank that video better as well. Okay, the more you can put into the video, more descriptions, things like that. Same thing with a Google My Business page. If you don't have a Google My Business page, go out and get a Google My Business page. If I do a search for Dallas real estate agent, and I can't see if I'm not misspelling that, but it'll pick it up. There. That's a Google My Business page. That's a Google My Business page. So get it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, you want to call it your name, the company, the team name. I'm sorry. Call it the team name, even if there are multiple of them. Okay. Just make sure, because if you put something fake in there, or just your name or something like that, Google's going to know, and it may even blacklist it. So it's got to be the actual company name. But you can have multiple. My wife has one for Realty One Group, and yet there is a Realty One Group. She's just a single agent on that brokerage. So name it. If it asks for company name, don't put your PLLC name or something like that. Put the actual company name in it. It's okay if there are multiple Google My Business pages. Okay. But then the other thing is don't create a Google My Business page and just let it sit there. Update it. There's actually there's a blogging feature on it. Blog on it. Put videos on it. Put pictures on it. Add to it on a regular basis. Okay. Reviews. A Google review is the best review you can get. There's tons of review sites out there, and Zillow, you can get a review from Zillow and things like that. Now, we used to embed the Zillow review widget on hundreds of sites, and they deprecated it. So now it no longer works. You can collect reviews on Zillow, but they don't get a widget for you to display it on your website because they want you to go to Zillow. So you do your own reviews, have them housed at Google. Get a Google review. That's the best review you can get. And if you no longer want to work with Zillow, you still have the reviews. If you work with another third-party review company, I don't know the names of them and all that, but you stop paying your subscription, well, then they have your reviews, not Google. And again, Google reviews are the only ones that are going to show up here. She's got 195. He's got 173. That's helping him rank better in a local service search because he's got more reviews. No, well, it's probably working. Okay, obviously it is, and it's staying there. But you do have the chance of Google finding that and blanking it out because it's not. It's supposed to be the company name. If you actually just Google My Business Optimization, and there's a great article on HubSpot. I was reading it a couple weeks ago. It goes through step by step how to do it, what to do. Yep. Yes. So it's a third party, okay, and actually Todd Tramonte was the one that showed us this a couple years ago. Go to Elf Site. It's $5 a month, okay, but for $5 a month you get a widget. One of them is the Google review widget. Looks like this. pulls your reviews in from your Google My Business page, and it's just code. So it gives you embed code that you then embed on your site. You put it into the source code section. But so it's important because it's pulling the reviews in, which is good. That's one thing. People get to see your reviews. But more importantly, it gives me that write a review link. So right there. You click on write a review. It just pops up with a box, some stars. They put in their review. They click submit. It submits it to your Google My Business page. So instead of saying, hey, please Google me, and then go to my Google Business page, and then scroll down, and then click on review. No, just say, go to my site and leave me a review. Okay. Elf site also, they've got tons of different widgets. We use them. We use tons of them. Instagram feed, Facebook feeds. There is one that does pull your Zillow reviews as well. I like to try and stay away from Zillow if I can, but that's called the all-in-one reviews. So this one you can pull from different sources. Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor, and Zillow is another one of them. But again, if you use that one, set it when you're setting up your Elf site widget, set it up so that they can only leave a review on your Google page. It'll pull reviews from multiple sources, but only leave it on Google. All right. So again, yes, on the back end of Elf site, when you're setting up that widget, you can set up the sources it's pulling from, and you can set up the layout, the colors, you can do all kinds of stuff to it, but you can also set when they write a review where to leave it. You can filter reviews. So on Elf site, you can say I only want 5 stars or above to come into my site. There's nothing you can do if someone gives you a bad review on Google. There's nothing you can do. You can write a response to it, and explain what actually happened, because 9 times out of 10, it's bullshit. I mean, you didn't do this or whatever. People are 10 times more apt to leave a bad review than they are a good review. It's just the way it is. When someone's pissed off, they're going to go leave a bad review. When you do a good job, sometimes they just, unless you prod them to, they're not going to leave you a good review. But you can filter it, okay? So the ones that on the Elf site widget display on your site are only going to be 5 stars or above, or 4.9, or whatever you want it to be. But again, the only thing you can do with a bad Google review is write a response. If it's completely erroneous, you never worked with this person, or they're bad-mouthing a restaurant on your real estate Google My Business, you can report it, and Google may remove it in their own due time. You can't make Google do anything. But don't worry about it. You gotta have a Google My Business page. Yes. Mm-hmm. I can show you what it looks like. Let's see, it's Hobgood, I think is one we've used it on. The Hobgood, yep, the hobgoodteam.com. So this one we put, let's see, I think it's on there. Yep, right there. So that's what it looks like. Same thing, I use one on my site. I use it for Facebook because I get same layout, same kind of thing. And the only reason I do that is because I don't need local business. And I get a lot of my clients from the Real Geeks Mastermind group. Sure. Just one. It's not going to it's not going to pull reviews from multiple Zillow profiles. So you need a widget for each person if they're using their own Zillow profile. But I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend displaying that on a site because you want to get people to leave reviews on your team Zillow page or your team Google My Business page. Same thing if someone leaves. I don't recommend like in the back end of your site, if someone leaves your team, don't just delete their page. Do a redirect. You can leave their page up, and in the back end of the site, I'll show you here in a second, you can do a redirect. So if you've got, your domain.john-smith, and John leaves, go on the back end of the site and redirect the John Smith page to another page on your site that says something like, The page you were looking for is no longer here, but we can still help you find a home. Because then any of the traffic that person's put out, or any of the links that he's put out, or the business cards that he's handed out, I mean, maybe 8 times out of 10, someone's not going to work with you, but 2 times out of 10 they will, because they don't know anybody else. They just had this link and they know that these are the experts. Okay, so John's not there anymore. I can still work with Kathy. So in the back end of your site, oh, I guess we could finish this out. Sure. Uh-huh. Only on your site. Okay, so on your Real Geek site. The other stuff they've done, no. Okay, you can't control their domains. You can't control their My Business page. You can't control any of that. You can just control the page for them on your Real Geek site. They're more likely going to find John's other stuff, not John's page on your Real Geek site. So this is only if he was passing out yourdomain.com/John-Smith, like on his signature, business cards, whatever. Okay. So I mean, it doesn't help much, but it's better than just deleting the page. Okay. All right. So now we get down here. We got listing header. All that is what's going to show up right. Whoops, this is a market report. Let's go to Aventura. So this is the H1 tag, the heading. This is what we're looking at now, the listing. So when I look right here, listing header, it was that listing header right there. Then you just build the search. Okay, click on create a search, and all your IDX fields, all your MLS fields, the fields from your MLS that are on the IDX appear, and you can drill that page down to whatever you want it to be. Cities, subdivision, price points, amenities, the whole 9 yards. If you look through this list and you know there's fields in your MLS that don't appear here, get with support. Okay, the Real Geek support. Like I said, for 15 years I was the chief information officer. Basically my job was dealing with tech support, and I've never dealt with a better tech support than Real Geek's tech support. So just say, hey, this is the field. It's in my MLS, but I don't see it here in my IDX. They're going to ask you a couple questions. They're going to want an MLS number from your MLS for a home that has that field enabled, or other questions, but they'll get it mapped. So that's their job, is to map your MLS to their IDX. And that brings up another good thing on your advanced search page. So if I go to advanced search, you can control what's here. Well, you can have Real Geeks control what is there. So, I mean, if there's fields on that page that you think somebody, or, fields that are not on that page that you think somebody might be searching on in your area, email Real Geek support and say, hey, can you please add these fields to my advanced search page? If you look at my wife's site, we added just about anything you could think of, because that's one of the advantages that the Real Geek site has over the big portals like Zillow and Realtor.com. That, Zillow can only map fields to their IDX that are consistent across all the MLSs. Whereas Real Geeks is connecting directly to your MLS. They can map any field that you've got into the site. And normally they do. I mean, they've worked with that MLS multiple times, because you're not the first person in Florida or that MLS to get a Real Geek site. But sometimes maybe there's a missing field, or a field has changed or something like that, and you want them mapped, send it to support. All right, so now we're going to make a search. We said this was Alfred, right? So I'm going to look in the cities. Alfred. Newest, highest, lowest, or oldest? I would always do newest. Okay? I know everybody wants to sell the highest priced home in that area, the 2 million, 3 million, whatever. It's better for SEO if it's the newest. And it's better for retention, because people are coming back to see the newest homes for sale on that page. So sort it by newest. Create search. Okay, only found one, but that's okay. Again, sidebar, we can choose whatever sidebar we want, whatever footer we want. Capture form. So you can do a custom capture form on a page-by-page basis. Okay, if you want them to, but the way it works is if you create a custom capture form, you just click that little plus sign next to it right here, fill all this information in, and then you click on require capture. What that means is if they click the link to see that page, they have to register first, okay? The registration box is gonna pop up before they get to see that page. Now that might be good for something like your listing presentation. Maybe you're going to put a PDF up or something like that, or some proprietary information that you only want to give people who are giving you their information. You don't want to just give it out to anybody. Put a custom capture form on it. You can even override the source on that custom capture form. So let's say I do put my listing presentation up. I can put the source as listing presentation. Then when you get the lead, you know where it came from. It came from that page. So it came from the listing presentation page. So when I call them, I'm going to say, "You looking to buy a house?" No. I'm going to say, "Oh, you're looking to sell your house. You were looking at my listing presentation." So that's what the custom capture form is for. Search form display options. This is just what appears on the top of the page, right there. Okay, you can leave it blank and it's just going to put the area name and add real estate search to it, or you can put whatever you want in there. Okay, it is an H1 tag on that page, so don't make it just, I wouldn't, like this one, I wouldn't just leave Mark Plotkin. You want something descriptive like South Florida real estate search, something like that, okay? Or on the Alfred page, like if I was just to leave it blank, let's click on save. Oh, I gotta make cups caps for it. I don't wanna do that. Okay, so now let's look at the Alfred page. So South Florida, oh, this is because we have a custom quick search box on this page. Normally it would say Alfred real estate search because I left it blank. Okay, so it's going to pull from, again, that variable, the area name up on top, right here, and put real estate search on it. But again, you can override it to be anything you want it to be. Okay. Now, content pages, same thing. Okay, the only difference between building a content page and an area page is on the content pages section, you get to choose from the different templates. Okay, one of the things that we used to do a lot in the content pages section was add a featured property page because it gave what's called pagination. So here, if I choose a featured property page, and down here, I was to choose 100 listings, and there were 300 listings in that area, it would show 100 on one page, and then it would give me next, 1, 2, 3, okay, or so on and so forth. So if I wanted to display all the homes for sale in a particular area, I would do a featured property page template. That's not going to be an issue, I don't think, as much anymore, because I think now the area pages are going to come with pagination as well. But that hasn't happened yet, but I think it's down the road. But just know if you want to do something for an entire area, not just the newest homes for sale, and you want the top 15 newest to show, but you want all the newest or all the active listings to show, use a content page and use a featured property page template. Let's see. Let me look at my notes here. So now the other, has everyone used ChatGPT? Okay. Do I need to go over it? Does anybody not know what ChatGPT is? Or anyone want to see what it does? Okay. Let's see. Do I have ChatGPT open? No. Okay. So ChatGPT. Somebody give me an area. Give me a city. Nashville. So I would do something like, and you have to tell it exactly what you want it to do. So write in a description of, and it's ASHE, right? Nashville, North Carolina. With an emphasis, did I spell that right? Nope. On the housing market. and it's going to do it. Okay. But again, don't just copy and paste that content and put it into the page. Copy it, put it into a notepad or text edit if you're on a Mac, and add some stuff or remove some stuff and add your own stuff. Again, you know the area better than ChatGPT does. Okay. And Google's going to know if you've just copied and pasted AI content and put it in there. Okay. They may not know it yet, but they're going to figure out how to know it. Okay. And, you wouldn't want to go through and build thousands of pages, and then Google figures out that it is all AI content, and they figure out how to filter it. As long as you just put some of your own content into it. Because, again, nobody knows the areas better than you do. Put a little bit of personal, But, again, it's a good starting point. Because it is unique content. Okay, someone else who writes that same sentence isn't going to get the exact same content that I get. It's going to be different, and there are variables and things, and there's classes you can take on how to program for AI. You're not actually programming, but you're how to write things in the AI to get different results. Okay, prompts. So that's ChatGPT. There's 3 and 4. 4 is free. I think you have to pay. I think I pay $20 a month and I get access to 4. Not much different. ChatGPT is 3 is much faster, or 3.5 I think it is now. But that's ChatGPT. So that's all we use it for is area descriptions. Can't write your bio because it doesn't know about you. Can't, we get that a lot. Can you just write my bio for me? No, I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about you. Okay. So let's go back to the back end. I'm sorry, say that again? Just go to just Google ChatGPT. So I would take the content here once it's done writing, which it is. You go up here and you copy. That's that button right there. Put it into a text document. Paste. And now rewrite it a little bit. Then you can copy from here and paste it into your website. Now, the other thing about copying and pasting, you can't copy and paste from another website directly into the Real Geeks editor. You can, but you have to paste without formatting. So just do a Google search on the keyboard shortcut for paste without formatting. Because if not, it pulls the formatting from the old source and puts it into the source on the Real Geek site, and then your font comes out different and it doesn't look right. So paste without formatting. Or paste it into TextEdit or Notepad, and then in TextEdit or Notepad, you say format, make plain text. So I could copy from a website, paste it in there, say make plain text, then I can copy from TextEdit into the Real Geeks editor. Okay. Same thing goes for Word. If you're using Microsoft Word to write your stuff, and you copy from Word directly into the editor, it's going to change the fonts. The fonts are going to look different. And if you were to look at the source code, you're going to see the MSO normal, and you can see all the bloated code from Microsoft Word in the editor. So always paste without formatting. Back to the editor. Sure. Mm-hmm. As many as you can. I mean, there's not really a good answer for that. As much time, time resources as you can devote to it. And blogs. I mean, that's really why blog posts came out. Blog posts are an easy way to keep your site updated without having to know how to build a page. But the only problem, the only downfall I see to blogs is that there's no lead capture. So if it was my time, money, resources, whatever, I would be building area pages all day long before I would do blog posts. If you can do both, great, because blog posts have kind of a different function. I mean, you can write about community garage sales, home maintenance, all that other stuff, whereas area pages, it should be specifically about an area. But that's another thing is, you write a blog post about a garage sale, community-wide garage sale. put a link in that blog post to the area page on your site about that area. So some people think, well, the blog's on my site. Well, maybe that blog gets disseminated somewhere else. Maybe it gets fed somewhere else. Someone else reads it. You want a way for them to get back to your Real Geek site. So no matter what content you're putting out there, always give them a link to get to and not just your homepage. Okay, I mean, that's fine, but give them a specific link to an area in your site. Area, neighborhood, school district, however you think people search in your area. And that's another thing is people don't think about building school district pages or other lifestyle pages. Sometimes people move to specific areas just because of the schools. So build a school district page, homes for sale in Cloverton School District or whatever. Be careful. I've had people who do polygon searches. Okay, so everybody knows what a polygon search is, right? Based off of a school district, and this actually happened. She built tons of pages because her MLS doesn't have a school district field. So she thought her site would stand out if she built pages based off of school districts, and she just did them herself. So she did the polygons. Well, either the school district changed, or she drew the polygon wrong. Somebody bought a house in a specific area based off of that school district because they wanted their son or daughter to go to that school. And who's the liability on that? When it ended up that house wasn't in that school district, but your website said it was. I don't know what happened. I don't know the legality. I don't know what ended up, but she had one pissed off client for sure. So be careful of that too. But if your MLS has school district fields, use them. That's another good page. And it's just another content page. I tell people we have a bot that can build thousands of pages for thousands of different areas. And they're like, how do I come up with 1,000 different areas? I target 5 cities. Well, you got cities, you've got subdivisions, you've got school districts, you've got, like I live in Goodyear, outside of Phoenix. So every page that we have has a Goodyear Homes with a pool for sale. Litchfield Park Homes with a pool for sale, because that's the big thing. During the summer, we can't go outside unless we have a pool, basically, 115 degrees. So, if there's a draw in your area, build pages for every single city. Okay. I was like, oh no, based off of that. Homes for sale near Luke Air Force Base. Okay. People moving, people PCSing into our area. We live about 3 or 4 miles from Luke, the largest fighter pilot training base in the world. So we get a ton of people coming in that way. Build a page for it. Do a blog post about it. On that blog post, do a link to the page about it that shows homes for sale in that particular area. Okay? Maybe then that's a good time to do a polygon page, because then you could polygon areas around Luke Air Force Base, or choose multiple cities that surround Luke Air Force Base. Business, homes for sale near Intel in Chandler. Okay, someone's going to Google that. So homes for sale, and make it that's called a long tail key phrase. Now, okay, you build a page for it, and maybe 2 people do that search every 6 months. Well, when they do, your page shows up. You look like the expert on homes for sale near Intel in Chandler. If it takes me 10 minutes to build a page and I get 1 lead out of it every 6 months, I'll take that ROI all day long. It took me 10 minutes to build it. So, think outside the box. It doesn't just have to be cities and subdivisions and that kind of stuff. As long as the onus is on the MLS or the listing agent, okay? The listing agent put it up there and they put it in the wrong school district. Well, nothing you can do about that. Okay, that's the listing agent's fault. No, but you can say, the school, and then use the Great Schools widget that comes on the Real Geek sites. So on the back end of the site, you can say include the Great Schools widget, and it'll show up on your property detail pages. Everybody knows what a property detail page is, right? The listing page. So that's a new feature too, is you can now include the walk score widget or the greatschools.org, I think it is, widget. But okay. Well, then what other questions do you guys have? Anything? Okay. Walk score, does everybody know what the walk score is? I think I'd only use that in like an urban area. I'm definitely not going to use it in Phoenix. We don't walk anywhere. It's included so in the back end of your site, if you go into edit website, website settings, I think it's under advanced settings. Yep. Enable market data widget, great schools widget, walk score widget. You can either enable it or disable it, and then those show up on the property detail pages. A listing page. That's a property detail page. Yep. Now I get this question a lot is, okay, so like this, that's a property detail page. Okay. Oh, there, that's a property detail page. And I get the question a lot, and also in the back end, there's a button for index property detail pages. Don't do it unless your site has authority, okay? And if you don't know what site authority is, you don't have it. What that means is all those MLS listings, by default, they're not being indexed on your site, okay? 10 years ago, indexable listings were new, or maybe 8 years ago, was a great thing, okay, when they came out with indexable listings. So in other words, instead of just viewing the MLS on your site in a frame, that was you're actually viewing the MLS server surrounded by your website. Now listings were appearing as indexable listings on your site. And that was great, okay? But now every platform has that. I mean, you know, any platform that you ever want to use, at least. So if you do it now without having site authority, it's just duplicate content. Because every other site that's connected to that same MLS has that exact same content. Same errors, same images, same price points, the descriptions, it's all the same. So it's not going to help you rank better by indexing those property detail pages. Any other questions? I can't really see. Sure. Yeah. And duplicate. Like I said, you know, I mean, like the blog page, that you can't duplicate that. But let's say you want to make a new sidebar, duplicate the old one. You want to make a new content page, go in there, copy that source code first, and make a new one, paste it in there. So you have a backup, okay? Because there's not really a undo or backup feature on a page-by-page basis. Optimize images, that's a big one. Site speed. You can test your site speed. No real estate site is going to rank very well, okay? So don't, and when it gives you a C or a D, don't, every MLS site is going to have that, okay? It's going to say too many DNS requests, too many HTTP requests, redirects. All that means is it's going out and grabbing all these different things from the MLS. You know, so I mean, when you load one page on a MLS connected site, technically it's loading from, you know, a whole bunch of different sources. And so Google looks at that as different requests. Nothing we can do about that. Okay, that's just nature of the game. But Real Geek sites, I mean, they are one of the faster ones out there. So don't overload it unless it makes sense. Again, if adding a video to your site makes sense and it adds value to that page, okay. You know, if you're selling a lifestyle, if you're selling a golf course home, well, maybe a golf course video makes sense. You know, or it's a golf course community, or put a picture of a golf course up at the top of it, if it makes sense. Yes. That doesn't hurt it. No, embedding a video doesn't, unless you're auto playing it, which nobody ever would. Well, at least don't. And don't put sound on your website. Don't put a video with sound that starts. You know, people sit in their cubicles and they look for homes when they're not supposed to be. You know, and I mean, I did it. You know, close that window real quick. So yeah, nothing with sound. But yeah, as long as you're not auto starting it, it's just code. It doesn't hurt it.
All right, guys, so we're going to wrap it up there. Todd's going to be out there. He's got his booth set up, so he's going to be here the rest of the conference. Definitely, if you have more questions, go take advantage of his time and go chat with him. He would love to chat with all of y'all. So thank you all for coming. We'll be back in this room at 1 o'clock.